Hey guys, working on a 2007 Trailblazer. The issue I have is that on the windshield wiper, this is a circuit board for the windshield wiper motor and arms. And the issue I'm having is I only have high speed. I don't have the low or the intermittent. And what happens a lot of times is circuit board will go bad. Some of the older models have an arm that touches another wheel with the electrical connectors on it, that the dielectric grease may get caked up enough or warm enough or kind of gooey enough that it'll keep it from contacting. Well, this one's not. I don't have that model circuit board. This is one of the newer ones that don't have it, and a lot of times that circuit board will go bad. So this what we're going to do today is take the windshield wipers off, the cowl off, and see if we can't get the arm out and put the circuit board in. Alright guys, so this is the setup we're looking at. This is the windshield wipers. What has to come off, there's a protective covering over a nut here. We'll take that protective covering off on both, take the nut off, and we'll pull the windshield wiper arms off. We'll have to take the cowl off, and the motor's right up under when we take the cowl off. Alright, so what we're going to do is take a pick of some sort or a flathead screwdriver and just get up under here and pull up on this protective cover, and it'll pop right off. Now, something else you can do, you can put tape on here to, when we go to take this arm off, you want to kind of remember where this arm goes. There's splines on these under the stud. But this one's, I've had it off several times, but this one's fairly easy to get back straight. Once the cowl's back on, we can get it lined up to, the even with the little indent here. And especially on this one, you can't really go any lower than that. So as long as you straighten them up with the indent of the cowl, you'll be good to go. But you can use like the blue masking tape and mark where your windshield wipers should be. So that'll help you get it back to where you want to install it, because you don't want to be off a tooth or anything, because then it'll be rubbing your molding on the windshield. But we're going to take a 15mm socket and pop this on off. So after you get those nuts off, we can use this is a windshield wiper puller, but on this Trailblazer you won't be able to get these arms in there. So what this is a tie rod end puller or a ball joint puller, and this works great. They're under $10. So what we'll do is get up under here under the arm, and just run this down over the end of the stud and give it a turn, quite a few turns, and pop that windshield wiper arm off. And with an 18mm socket, you can go ahead and try to tighten it down and get that arm to pop up. And there you go. Nothing to it. And then what's left is these 10mm bolts. So you're going to have two of them, one on each end. There's one over there on the other end, and then there's two indentions in the middle that you'll see, but what that is there's a kind of like a catch that goes into the body frame under the windshield. So these two right here catch into the body frame. And so we'll take these 10mm bolts out, get them loose, and I'll show you what's next. And then this one on the passenger side is a little deeper, so you want to take something like a needle nose pliers and then get that bolt out. The nut. And over here, the antenna would go here, but don't use the antenna anymore, because mainly we stream music and play our songs that way. But yeah, needle nose pliers to get that nut off, and I'll show you what's next. Alright, now we're moving to under the hood. You want to go ahead and disconnect your windshield wiper fluid hose, because that is attached up underneath the the cowl, and then you have 3 of these push pins, and what you want to do is stick either a flathead screwdriver or a pick and stick it up under here and pull that top. All these are push pins, kind of like on your fender well as well. Get them up enough that they just pop out. So you got 3 of those, and once you get those push pins up, you can kind of lift up under here and start pulling up. Like I said, there's 2 catches. There's one here that goes into the body of the underneath the windshield, and then you've got one over here on the driver's side, and there's a cutout for that stud, and what you want to do is slide it up and over that stud, and the cowl will come out. Once you get it up and loose, go ahead and you can kind of just shut your hood, not all the way, and just finish pulling it on out from underneath. And once you have the cowl out the way, here's your wiper arm assembly motor, and there is 2 10mm bolts here, one on this side and one on the very end right there. 10mm. Go ahead and take them off. And once you have your 2 10mm bolts out on each end, there is a guide stud, I guess you can say, right here that goes into another part of the body molding, and just lift up and pull out, and the whole wiper arm assembly will come out, so we can get to that motor. And once you have it loose, we can bring it up and try to get this connector off, which you just press down right there where my fingertip is and pull it on out. And once you have your wiper arm assembly out, there is 4 T20 bolts also on the holding down the circuit board. 4 T20s. So once you have all 4 of your T20 bolts out, you can pry on this a little bit. I've already had this off because I was thinking I had the older style that I could wipe some of the residue off, but this is totally different than that. Same concept, but it's a newer style. So this is what it looks like up underneath. It looks like you just have an O-ring gasket of some sort, and shouldn't have to clean anything in here. Everything looks good. I would leave all the grease there for lubrication, and we'll start going back together with this. Alright, so comparing the 2 side by side, this is the older one, and we'll get everything lined up. This is the older one, and if you can see there, it's Vallejo, and the new one, they don't sell this separate. You can get this on eBay. I ended up getting this on eBay. It's around 70 bucks. And Rock Auto has the whole arm assembly with the new circuit board and new motor for about 70 bucks also. But I didn't want, my shed's already cluttered up enough. I didn't want to spend 70 bucks and have this laying around in the shed taking up space. So off of eBay, 70 bucks for just the circuit board, and we'll go back together with this thing. Alright, so with this, what you want to do, there's 2 pegs, alignment pegs right here, and you want to make sure that these tongs slide right in there, and that guide peg, and here's another guide peg on the side here, and push it together. Push it together and go back in with your T20 Torx bolts. And once you have the circuit board back together on it, place it not all the way in there, so you can get your hand up in there and get the plug-in connection back on. And then remember, there is a kind of like a dowel pin section here to go in to, and line up your holes and go back together. And now we're ready to put the cowl back on, and it's playing around with it. I think it might be easier to go in with this since it's got the indent in it. Get that started, and I want to show you right here the this little clip, and it will go into part of the body molding down there just below the windshield. You got one on each side. And make sure you've tucked in your windshield wiper lead or hose, and tuck it in up under the hood, and see if we can line these tabs up. It's gonna be hard to see it with this camera, but we'll line those tabs up, push it down, and go from there. And once you've pushed down on those tabs into the firewall, go ahead and tuck your rubber pieces up under the fender. They do sell cowls for these. A lot of times this rubber will come off the plastic and flap in the wind, so this is a new cowl for this model. And then we can go back together with these nuts. And once you have those nuts tightened down, we can go ahead and put these push pins back in place. And also hook up our windshield wiper hose, windshield wiper fluid hose. And there you have it. And our windshield wiper fluid hose assembly. And now we're going back together with our windshield wipers. And as you pull them off, it may spring up like this to get it off better. And what we're going to do, I'm going to have 2 hands for this, but what we're going to end up doing is going back together and get it lined up. Like I said before, this one was easy to remember because it lines up with the shape of the cowl. And we'll go ahead and get our nut on that, tighten it down. This is what it looks like lined up. On this one, it's going to be real close, almost no gap. And then we can tighten them down with our 15mm. And once you've tightened them down, we'll go ahead and lay these down and put our beauty caps on. And you're done. And let's see if they work. So when I initially did this, I thought it was the turn signal wiper arm. So I ended up putting a brand new one of those on there, and it still did it. So let's see if this didn't fix the problem. Alright. Let's see. And we are working. Intermittents are working. Fast, low, and our intermittents. So everything's working. Hope this helps. Click that like button. See you on the next one.